Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another What I Eat in a Day video, and here's what I had to eat one day this week. For breakfast I made some yogurt overnight chia oats. I made this recently, but this time I added in a few other things. I make it up the night before by adding a banana to a bowl, and then I mashed that up with a potato masher, and then I next added in half a cup of coconut milk, 1 cup of coconut yogurt, a pinch of vanilla powder and a pinch of salt, and I mixed that together well. And then I added in 1 cup of oats, a tablespoon of chia seeds, some goji berries and some pumpkin seeds. Mixed that well together again, and then I just transferred it over to a small dish and placed it in the fridge to set overnight. In the morning I took it out, I added on some defrosted from frozen raspberries and a handful of this chia and hemp granola from the Paleo Foods company. It's so good. And that's it. It's such a quick and easy breakfast. I'm really into overnight oats at the moment, especially with the mashed banana thrown in. It makes it so creamy, and I like switching things up each time. You can add in nuts, seeds, granola into it, mix it all together. It's delicious. Before lunch, I just made an iced matcha latte. I will link to my video I did with the Matcha Reserve and how I like to use matcha. Their matcha is my favourite. It comes in so many different flavours, but I've recently been trying their mango flavour, which is so good. I take around 2 scoops of this and whisk it up with a little bit of water in the matcha bowl into a paste, and then I just put some ice in a glass, pour in some milk. I love any Oatly milk because it's so creamy, and then I just add in the matcha last. I find matcha, hot or iced, to be such a good mid-morning pick-me-up. I'm really not a coffee lover unless it's iced with loads of plant milk in it, but matcha still contains caffeine, so it's a great coffee alternative, though it doesn't give me the jitters that coffee can do, and it also has lots of health benefits too. For lunch, I made a curried chickpeas and mango salsa sandwich. I first added 1 can of rinsed drained chickpeas to a pan on a medium heat. I then added in a pinch of cayenne pepper, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of onion powder or granules you could use, half a teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of turmeric and 2 teaspoons of curry powder, and I also seasoned it with some salt and black pepper. I stirred that together well, and then I added in 1 teaspoon of tomato puree. I then took this creamed coconut from Coconut Merchant and I added in around 1/4 cup of that, and then added in half a cup of water and 1 tablespoon of brown rice syrup, and mix that through well. I left that on a low heat whilst I made the salsa, and for this I chopped up 1 mango, added that to a bowl with around 1 tablespoon of lime zest, the juice of 1 lime, 1 chopped small red onion, a bunch of fresh chopped coriander, and 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, and I mixed that all up. I then turned off the heat on the chickpeas and added in a bunch of fresh chopped coriander to that as well, and also the juice of 1 lime. I mixed those through and then used the back of a spoon to just slightly mash things up. I then sliced up some seeded bread and toasted 4 slices. I then laid on the curried chickpeas and then the mango salsa and some spinach on top. You could butter your bread with some vegan butter or coconut oil if you like. I've never really liked butter on my bread. I prefer it dry. And I also had some more spinach on the side with some balsamic vinegar drizzled over the top. Okay, not to blow my own trumpet, but I basically wanted to recreate the Pret curried chickpeas and mango chutney sandwich, which is insane, and it's what I always pick up when I'm traveling. Oh, it's so good, and this turned out to be pretty dang amazing. It was very close to the real deal, and it made a good amount too. I think I actually lived on curried chickpea and mango salsa sandwiches for around 3 days in a row. So yeah, you can store any leftovers in an airtight container, and I would use it up within around a week. I had a snack in the afternoon. Okay, so I've talked about Eat Real so many times before. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this flavour though, but these are the chili and lemon lentil chips. I don't even know how these are so good. They're basically made out of lentil flour and loads of herbs and spices and seasonings. So delicious, but since they're really good little scoopers, I ate them with some of the mango salsa that was left over. The flavours of the lemon, the chili, the mango lime all mingled so well together, and it was just a really delicious snack. Later on for dinner, I made an aubergine lasagna bake. I first started by adding 1 teaspoon of oil to a large pan on a medium heat, and then I chopped up 1 white onion, added that in, and then minced 3 cloves of garlic and added that in too. I fried those off for a few minutes before then adding in 1 teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of dried basil, a teaspoon of dried thyme, a teaspoon of dried parsley, and a teaspoon of chili flakes. I turned that through, and then I added in a tablespoon of tomato paste, 2 tins of chopped tomatoes, a can of coconut milk, and 1 cup of vegetable stock, and then I seasoned it really well with some salt and black pepper. I stirred that really well and then brought it up to a boil and then just left it to simmer. I next preheated my oven to 180 degrees Celsius, and then I sliced up 4 aubergines, spread them out across 2 lined baking shelves, and brushed each slice both sides with some olive oil. I popped those in the oven to kind of roast for around 10 minutes, and then I flipped them over for another 10 minutes to cook on the other side. Next, I added 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast into the sauce. I then picked a bunch of fresh basil and tore that up into the pan as well. I stirred it all through, and then I took a small baking dish. I laid around 1/3 of the sauce in the bottom, and then I removed the aubergines from the oven and layered 1/3 of those in on top, and then I laid on some whole wheat lasagna sheets. I basically did 3 layers of that, finishing with the sauce on the top, and then I just placed that in the oven to cook for around 30 minutes. Once it was done, I then took it out of the oven. I divided it into 2 and placed those on plates, and then any remaining sauce that was left in the dish I just added on top, and then I finally garnished with some more fresh basil. This was so good. The sauce is really rich and has so much flavour. I love the kind of meaty texture that roast aubergine always gives. Along with the pasta sheets, it all worked so nicely together. You could serve this with some potato wedges, a little side salad, some vegan garlic bread, but honestly it's so filling on its own. And you could also add in some vegan cheese if you like, or melt some over the top before it goes into bake. But I truly don't miss the cheese in this dish. It's just so tasty as it is. And then for like a little dessert, I made these frozen yogurt blueberries. All I did for this was dip some blueberries into some coconut yogurt. You guys know my obsession with this stuff. And then I just placed those on a plate which was lined with some parchment paper. I then set them in the freezer for around about an hour, and then after that I just moved them over into a bowl when they were set. It's such a quick and easy snack or dessert, and you could do this with any kind of fruit. And that's it for another day on my plate. As always, all of the recipes will be written up in the description box below for you. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!